I wanted to talk to all of you about increasing your valuation. Now, last night I chatted with one of my clients and they sold their agency and literally game-changing money. And I was thrilled for them and I was very happy. And there was a couple things that we did that really helped them get the amount of money that they wanted and increase their valuation. I wanted to go over that with you today. And if you're new to seeing me, I just want to let you know that I'm all about putting out strategies and tactics for helping you grow your agency faster and hopefully a little bit easier. And I was blown away by the offer one of my clients got, and he took it. I can't tell you who it is because he's under NDA and all of that for a while for saying it publicly, but it was a big game-changing deal, and wanted just to cover a couple things. So welcome everybody that is joining. Well, the first thing that we really concentrated on was making him as profitable as we could. So too many agencies look at their top line revenue. I remember when I was running my agency for 12 years, I would chat with other agencies and all they ever talked about was top line revenue and be like, oh, we're 5 million, we're 10 million, we're a $20 million agency. Even Gary Vaynerchuk at VaynerMedia talks about, hey, we're a $200 million agency. He never talks about profit. And it always gets me wondering, I'm like, well, how profitable are they? And how profitable are all these people that keep bragging about how big their agencies are? At the end of the day, it all comes down to profit and how much money you make. I can't tell you how many agencies I chat with that brag about the top line revenue, but then we actually look under the covers and they're not as profitable. And when I talk about profitability, I'm talking about over 32%. The average service-based business in the US is over 32%. So if you're under that, you're under par, okay? And I know there's a lot of things going around in the agency space where people are talking about, 15, 20% is good, especially as you grow and get bigger and bigger. No, it's not. I mean, yes, it's good you're profitable at least, but I'm telling you, man, I'm working with some bigger agencies that are, a lot more profitable than you are, right? I'm talking about 40, 50% margins. And yes, this is EBITDA. This is including, their salaries as normal salaries. This is including all their expenses. It's not including distributions or taxes, okay? So I just wanted to let you guys know on that. The other thing that was a big thing for my client to get a huge valuation is they had a really defined niche. I mean, literally, if I told you the niche, you'd kind of laugh. I mean, we even were running Facebook ads for this niche and we're trying to figure that out. And we were having a hard time targeting. But since they were so specific, an acquirer wanted that market. And so they just gobbled them up. The other thing that helped was they had long-term contracts. And to get out and have the clients, if they had to break the contracts, it would cost them. So a lot of agencies I chat with and I see out in the marketplace, they'll sell a year retainer, but they can cancel at any time with no penalty. And so when an acquirer is looking at purchasing you, they're looking at what's the monthly recurring revenue that we can depend on? What's the ones that we can count on? And it's so important to have long-term contracts, okay? It's so important to have long-term contracts. And literally a year to 2 years, because then they can predict out what's going to happen. Because if you don't have long-term contracts, your valuation is going to go, whoo, it's going to fall way, 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 way down, okay? The other thing is having intellectual property. When I talk about intellectual property, yes, that's client contracts, but I'm also talking about having a standard operating procedure. Thanks, Chris, very much, man, and thanks for everybody joining. Have really good procedures. So I always kind of made fun of my client because he didn't charge that much, even though he had a real profitable business. He could have charged way more and been even more profitable, but they were kind of a turn and burn operation. And the cool part about it was that they had such a systematic process, right? That they can replicate it like this. and be done, and really, up the game for their clients. And so creating that intellectual property there is so important. Okay, so important. The other thing is having, really not trading time for money. Okay, and not having all of your business in one particular client. So what I'm meaning is this particular client had maybe 1% of the revenue in per client. Now, I'm not saying you need, for every client that should only make up 1% of your revenue. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying you shouldn't have like 30% of your revenue in one client. If you do, work your butt off in order to get more of those. That's kind of what we did, right? So when we get a big client like LegalZoom or Hitachi, and that was a huge retainer for us and a huge amount of influx of revenue, we wanted to work our butt off to get even more with other clients. So in the case that we lost LegalZoom or we lost Hitachi or any of these, we would not be in dire straits. Because I remember tons of agencies. So I'm in Atlanta, and everybody seems in Atlanta to work with Coke. And so I remember a lot of agencies, they'd be doing a specific work for Coke, and then they would, and sorry, I'm going live on YouTube and Facebook, and so on YouTube that I'm going live, I see your questions for a second and then go away. So I'll look in the comments later on, and maybe we'll create episodes out of it. But I remember when Coke would change their agency for a particular thing, then a whole department, or sometimes the whole agency would go under, and I don't want that for you, and that's just going to decrease your valuation. So I just want to give you those couple pointers. Make sure you look at your intellectual property, your processes, your client contracts. Make sure that they're long. Make sure you're looking at your profitability and making sure it's over the 32% mark, or how can you actually get there. Make sure that you're having a niche and you're really focusing on driving and really becoming that market leader for that niche, so you control that. And make sure you're also, and this is another thing I didn't say, you're growing year over year. So if you're wanting to exit in the next couple of years, make sure your past 3 years shows an increase in revenue and growth. If it's just stagnant or going down, that's going to hurt your valuation, and people are going to be like, oh, you're losing the market share. You're not as valuable as you were a little while ago. So you want to concentrate on that. And then lastly, if you're not yet subscribed, make sure, and if you're not aware of the 2 podcasts that we have, make sure you go to swenk.it, Swenk it, and it links to both our podcasts, right? And I saw a question. So the questions on YouTube keep popping up, and they kind of go away really quick. So I'll answer these after, because I wish YouTube was a little better on their live. I'm trying both at the same time. So, but make sure you go there. Make sure you subscribe. We're putting out content almost on a daily basis for all of you. And, I love creating content and creating a resource I wish I had. So make sure you hit the subscribe. Make sure you hit the bell. Make sure you comment and let me know the questions that you have. And we'll create shows out of it. We'll create content for you and help you grow your agency a little bit faster and hopefully a little bit easier as well, because I remember how hard it was. And if there's ever anything I can do for any of you, let me know. And until next time, have a swank day. All right, YouTube. Sorry I couldn't answer a lot of your questions. They kept popping up for a second and then go away. Well, let me see. I ended Facebook. Let's see if I can go in here. No, I can't. I'll answer your questions in the comments. All right. See you, Chris. Yeah, I would see it for a second. It's kind of cool on the mobile. But I'll answer it for you, and I'll chat with you all soon. See if I can actually turn off how this works.